Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Zookman Live broadcast of the Fusion ECT Racing League, race number 9. We have been out here for quite a few weeks now, absolutely hammering it in the Fusion ECT Racing League. This league is all about clean racing out on Zwift. According to ZwiftPower.com, we are going to be covering 42 kilometers for one lap of the big loop out on Watopia. We're taking on the Epic KOM as well as the Jungle Climb out there today. 414 meters of elevation gain, 3.9% average, as well as 9.5 kilometers for the climb out there. So it's going to be a very difficult day for the riders out there. 47, it looks like, have jumped into the A category. For the B category, I believe we've got 73 riders. I'm looking at 43 riders in the it looks like C category as well. So riders are absolutely hammering out here already. We're going to jump right on into the racing now, as it looks like we are heading on over toward Watopia's underground water here in just a moment. Now, if you do want to interact with the broadcast, you can do so, obviously, as always, through the social media over on Facebook as well as over on Twitch. So go ahead and let us know your questions, comments about the race. Let's go ahead and take a quick look, though, at how things have been turning out for the overall results in the series so far. Looking at some of the leaders, last time we did look, it was Kalman that was absolutely demolishing this race so far, this race series so far. KISS Racing Team out there week after week. Fusion Development's been out there week after week, trying to jump into the leaderboard as well. Has been Dig Deep coaching, as they showed up last week and showed us how to race, as they've been letting us know that they are going to be very interested in Zwift racing throughout the rest of the season. And if they're, we're still trying to figure out, it seems like, the Zwift racing season, but it is Alexei Kalman in the A category, currently with 90 points. Simon Nielsen, though, out there just behind him, not too far back with 83 points, and still this race and another to go. So it's not all said and done. Now, this has been the conversation from the get-go of this, racing series here, and that has been Stian Lursveen from the Vikings team, and they have been absolutely killing. He's been absolutely killing it, chasing down the likes of Fusion ECT. The only man who is out there, though, currently that can take on the Fusion ECT team perhaps will be Lursveen. So we're going to see if we can find him out on course. It does look like he has shown up on the day, coming out of Norway. They're going to be taking a left-hand turn in just a moment here on over toward the Epic KOM. Probably going to be sticking all together for quite a while. We can see those heart rates are fairly low at this point because they are most likely going to be reserving as much as they can for that climb. I mean, it's going to be an absolutely monstrous climb. We're looking at about 20, probably 18 to 20 minutes at the front end of the race over the top of the Epic KOM. So back in with the B category, everybody's positioning themselves. We do have a little bit of a breakaway already, though, happening, it looks like, in the B category. Interesting to see one rider off the front over there. And maybe going for a solo attack. No, it's going to be Klitgaard here now from Fusion Dev. 172 beats per minute already, so already starting to use up some of these matches here. You're seeing as well Team Tramp here as well with, it looks like, Bazwan here now coming out of Denmark. It's going to be Cryogen with our Sim, and then Roden coming from watts per kilogram. So early attacks here in this cat. And, not sure that's going to pay off too much. Maybe just trying to get a head start, though. A lot of times when you're not the best climber in the world, you are going to be looking for some sort of a breakaway situation early on to try and fade climb and try and stick with the leaders. It is a very sharp gradient right from the get-go, though, so maybe that is also why. Back in with the C category now, it does look like we've got 44 riders jumping in with them. Christy there, Christy from BRT jumping in amongst the women there as well, so good to see her. And in the C category, let's go ahead and see what's happening here. It looks like near Nick here now from, it looks like coming out of Belgium, leading things out for them. as they start to make their way through the underground tunnel. Now back in with the A's, now we do see that they are starting their climb proper here now. Well, not the climb itself just yet. They haven't hit the KOM just yet, but they are on the little foothills coming out of the underwater tunnel now. You can see what is in store from the riders here up ahead, though, as there is a monstrous climb, as you can see, coming at them very quickly here. And there is the tower up at the top there. And I'm not sure if they're taking it on the tower climb itself. There's a left-hand turn, obviously, after the Epic KOM. We'll see if they do end up taking that on here once they do hit the top here. But it's going to be MDBRT here toward the back, just looking for a wheel off the down. Now, I think the riders are going to start looking for a few wheels to hang on to as they head into this first little kicker. And it does hurt quite a bit, these first sections of the course. ZwiftPower.com, again, does have live tracking up on their website now, which is pretty amazing. New setup over there that you're able to not just live track what's going on for the race when it comes to the watts per kilogram as well as the time and everything, but there is live tracking as well of the riders on the course profile, actually. So let's go ahead and take a quick look at how things are playing out with that. I mean, pretty amazing new setup here, actually, with SwiftPower.com. I'm pretty amazed at what they've been able to do with their setup here. So back in with this, it does look like it is things been led out here with 38 riders with Kalman from Fusion ECT, as you can see. We also see Bazoon here from Team Tramp there, 64 riders in the B's. Near Nick here now in the C category, it looks like, with 28 riders, and then 3 riders in the D category with 349 back there, it looks like, with Skridstrup there hammering things out. So here's the current situation there with that A category where they stand out on course. So pretty awesome. Make sure to head over to ZwiftPower.com to check that out. And you haven't connected your Zwift account yet with ZwiftPower.com and you want to be in the race results with the community races, make sure to head on over there and register your Zwift account with the backend API. So straight over the top, thanks up. I'm getting it's a little bit of help here from chat, and I appreciate chat jumping in there. Matt Brandt, it looks like, letting us know straight over the top, we're not heading toward the tower today. So very helpful information. Now we are seeing MD from BRT here just letting things go right from the get-go. Might be the smart move, as it looks like things are absolutely fine. All right, 30 riders off the front. Looks like Daffin Williams, as well as it looks like Dig Deep Coaching there with it's going to be, I believe, Lehman here falling off the back just a little bit. Moving forward to the front end of the race here with the A category, I believe we have the initial breaks here. Kalman Fusion ECT already starting to make things happen now. At the very front, though, it is going to be off the doll. He is going to be the climber on the day, I think, for KRT. Morton Vang there as well. These two trying to make things happen very early as we head into the main climb. Everybody ghosting it up here just a moment here, so let's go ahead and head back on over toward the C category so we can find our riders again. It looks like the leader we were speaking over earlier about is going to be the Belgian rider, still trying to break things apart here in that C category. Then it's going to be E. Eddie here as well, and then Thomason there. H. Thomason there hammering away at about 4.2, 4.8 watts per kilogram now. Then in the B category, it's going to be Clickguard here from Fusion, as well as Boston off the front, actually, in this B category. Good to see them able to work together and cause a little bit of mayhem early on. 4 seconds back is going to be Simon Oxenham there. And they still believe riding for, nope, not riding for Team Experimental, it looks like, hanging out in that Zwift kit here. But it's going to be Blendred there as well, out of the UK. Nellis there from TFC1. Now making his way to the front, trying to chase down things there a little ways up at 4.8 watts per kilogram. These races up and over the top of the climbs like this, a lot of times will cause some upgrades amongst the riders. So always something to be watching out for with the climbing races out there. And it's not even a name and shame type of situation whatsoever, actually. It's just the reality of fitness gained cannot be hid when you are out there on a climb like this. You're climbing for at least 20 minutes straight, maybe more. And because of that, your 20-minute power may be going up today. So if your 20-minute power does go up today over your category limit, make sure to go ahead and jump up into the next category to make sure that we're all racing in the correct categories. Again, for A riders, it is 4.0 watts per kilogram or higher for your functional threshold power, your 20-minute power. If for the then there is also In the B category, 3.2 to 4.0 watts per kilogram. And then in the C category, it's going to be 2.5 to 3.2 and 2.5 and under for the Ds. So be watching out for those all-time best, though, for a lot of these riders, I think, as this is going to be an absolutely monstrous climb here. I'm already seeing chat here coming in saying all kinds of things about how difficult the day is going to be. So brutal race here coming in from Racing Mike over at the Twitch channel. We're seeing Jeb Tolbo. Jeb, good to see you. And he's saying he's glad that he's at work today because it is going to be a brutal climb. Jerry Delport saying ZP is adding more bells and whistles. Nice. Yep. And always good to see Zwift Power and all the hard work that they're up to in order to serve the community. So again, thanks everybody for the chatter there about the tower. We do not go to the radio tower, Vegan Rabbit. We do not go to the radio tower. Chat was helping us out with that. Now, if you do want to interrupt the broadcast again, go ahead and tweet at us, or go ahead and chat over in the YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook stream. For those of you that want to send us some media as well, you want to send some pictures of your Zwift setup, send us some results, maybe some podiums, whatever it might be, you can do so over on Twitter. That's the easiest way to share media with us at Z Community Live, at Z Community Live. Back in with the A category, Soren Bay here making his way to the front of the race. The former Danish national champion here chasing down the current Danish national champion, both riding for Fusion, it looks like, in game here. And now the attacks are really on as we head through the mountain village here. Vang, though, on the front. He has always been said to be the climber to be watching out for. Dan Fleeman, though, here now making his way to the front of this race. And it looks like Fleeman's showing us the fireworks again from Dig Deep Coaching here. Kalman near low is going to go across. It's going to be Bay already. The fireworks are on early on in this race. A. Brown, SBC, now making his way to the front. Off the duck, KRT racers here trying to just hold on. The Vikings and their last chance at the podium perhaps here now starting to fade away from them as we've got riders here on the attack completely spread out. Can they make it to the castle? It's going to be the question here. 184 beats per minute here currently as we get the top view here from the helicopter. You can see that it is completely blown apart, and this is all about suffering. Who is more willing and who's got that functional threshold power here? 185 beats per minute here. Dry card here coming from Belgium. Now Bang there, M-Bang, as well as Lursveen here from the Vikings going backwards now. It looks like Hodges here unable to hang on as well. The ruler type, I think Hodges can climb, but amongst these boys, I think they're the pure climbers out on Zwift. Adrian Timmis here trying to hang on, as well as Kay Farr up there, but it looks like we have an elite group of about 9 making their way off the front, but a split has happened here. It looks like Brown is going to hang on to Bay's wheel. Kalman, Dig Deep Coaching there as well. Vang continuing to split the pack here at about 6.0 watts per kilogram. 182 beats per minute here currently coming from Morten Vang. Gino Bartali, good to see you there. Oof, that is going to be brutal, as well as Klaus here saying 28 cam from the top to the finish line. It's absolutely still though, you know, Klaus Nielsen's coming here letting us know how far it is to the finish line from the top. So, you know, there is a lot of landscape left to work with actually from the very top of the race course actually, or from the top of the mountain actually out here. So with Vang making the split, if they got enough riders, and that may be why he doesn't want to completely blow everything up, but at 181, 182 beats per minute, I think he is fairly maxed out at this point. Off to the 5.3, Fleeman there as well, just hanging on. So a couple of riders here coming back to the wheels. Lursveen here, this is his, this is perhaps his series on the line here, though. So watch out for this situation here, because if they continue to break things apart and continue to drop off Lursveen here, he may be in trouble actually for the league results actually in the overalls. As I do take a look at the current standings, Alexis Kalman here now still first place overall obviously, but you know, for the third place battle is what we're looking at here for Lursveen actually. So we do not want to join that event right this second. No, that's okay. Thanks, I appreciate the warning there for coming from Zwift. But Lursveen here, 78 points currently, third place overall. 12 points off of the lead there with Alexis Kalman. That's who we're looking at right here. And Simon Nielsen, Mads Bang Anderson, Anders Jensen there as well. So those riders, they're ones we're going to have to be watching out for who could overtake the likes of Lursveen. And Bang Anderson is off the front here from Fusion ECT along with Kalman. So that's going to be a threat actually to Lurstein's overall. So we're going to see if he can hang on to the pace and get back in contention. Hodges here goes ahead and throws a wheel over to Lurstein. Lurstein now jumps on. And as we were saying earlier, with 28 kilometers to the finish line, and these two riders working together, maybe Farup makes his way up to the front. If they don't allow too much to go, and the front riders start looking at each other later, it's going to be up to the Fusion team. But they do have 3 in here, hammering away. And I think Oftedal as well as Morten Vang are just going to be looking to break the Fusion team here at this point and take as much energy out of the legs as they possibly can over the top. That may be the tactic here, because there is the reality that there are some riders behind. They may want to stay involved. Now, there also is the reality that Morten Vang could just break away on the climb out of the jungle, being an amazing climber here. And there's also the reality that if you are a better climber than some of the other racers that are out on course, a lot of times it just helps you to completely sap the energy from those riders early on because of your ability to climb. The level that some of these guys can climb at will be steady, high threshold, whereas they're putting all of the other riders into a survival mode, into their over threshold type mode that is going to completely sap all the energy. And you can see Oftedal and Bang Anderson starting to go off the front here. Perhaps going to be a situation where Fleeman's going to want to chase this down and another break might start forming. Vang, he's got 7.2 watts per kilogram. We saw him up into the 180s a moment ago, so I think he does have a little bit to work with. Brown and Bay now starting to fall off the pace here that's being set at the front end here, as we are looking at the SBC rider here, 166 beats per minute, trying to follow here. Dry cuts going there as well, 4.6. Solid efforts here all around in this A category. Back in with the B category. There is a break off the front here with Clickguard there. It looks like 30 seconds, and it's going to be Olsen there, also from Fusion Dev, leading out Blundred. Nellis there, light on the wheel, just trying to hang on as we're going through the castle. Looks like Alexis Luge here, 10 seconds back from these riders. Alexis Luge is in the battle for an overall. As we do look at the overall series situation, Alexis Luge, I believe, in this B category, sitting in 3rd place, 57 points, but it's going to be Michael Heiberg as well as Nicholas Brandborn that he's going to be watching out for. Not seeing either of those riders, though, anywhere near him at this point, so perhaps a few points will be able to be grabbed by Luge out here in order to try and get a better result on the overalls. But off the front here, one of the riders absolutely hammering, 4.9 watts, become 5.1. Is this going to be something where we do see quite a few of these riders getting an upgrade, though, as the climb is going to make these riders actually be an A category rider at the end of the day, either a DQ or a upgrade into the next category. It'd be interesting to see how Fusion handles that on the day. Alexander Alexi Lightning, go BRT, go Nigel Clark is the shout out there coming from Alexander Lexi Lightning. Good to see you out there, Alexander, and thanks a lot for cheering on the BRT team. We'll be looking for Nigel Clark out there. I do know that Nigel was in the contention for a top 10 in the series, currently with 5 races and 11 points in the overall, so we'll be watching out for how things do play out. Dan Fleeman, not one to count out for a top 10 situation, winning the last race that he did race out here, actually. So if he is able to, if Fleeman is able to grab another win, this is going to be a situation where he could be jumping into the top 10 with only one race. He's got quite the result already. Now, Nick, from coming out of Belgium in the C category, most definitely, I would say, is going to be getting an upgrade, actually. So we're going to be keeping eyes on a few of the other riders here. We're looking at E. Eddie here coming out of France here, solid 3.9 watts per kilogram. Inovskis there as well, but it's going to be Pinto, I think, who may be within the category limits. Lois Ganez there from the Dirt team. He's the current series leader in the C category who's trying to sit onto the wheel there. 5 seconds back there. Blith from NTR there, as well as Velocity. Lund and Dallin, Creamer, and then it's going to be Verledens. Verledens from the BZR team absolutely pulling away last week as we saw them on the Keith Hill after party. And I'd be watching out for Verledens. He showed us that he is the climber to be watching out for. And Verledens jumping into 5th place overall because of that result last week. 58 points right on the wheel there of Christian McDonald. Then it's going to be Charlie Ryan from NTR there in third place overall. So your top five, Johan Verlaine sitting in fifth place. Christian McDonald there sitting in fourth. Charlie Ryan currently sitting in third place. Richard Dahlin from the Vikings team there in second. And then Istak Nez there from the Dirty Dirt team there. And Istak's in here. It looks like Dahlin has made as well. So that's second overall. Fifth overall, obviously Verlaine's here on the screen right in front of us. Not seeing Christophe though able to make this group, so perhaps not out there this week. Looking for Charlie Ryan. I believe Charlie Ryan may be taking the day off. We'll have to move our way backwards though a little bit and see if perhaps he is just a little ways back on the day, but I think it has more to do perhaps with, nope, it looks like just not able to show up on the day here. Actually, no, Christophe is here coming out of the USA. We'll get him a ride on, but he's got to have a lot of time to make up, sitting at 140 beats per minute currently. Maybe falling off, maybe a dropout perhaps, or perhaps just not the climbing legs and more of the sprinter in order to grab all the points that he has in this category. So I believe this is the main group. Perhaps going to be the main group that will not be upgraded on the day. We are hearing a whole lot of chatter there, actually. Good to see Hodges, Hodges and Fleeman, Toby Kaplan saying. Brandborg already upgraded to A, we're hearing from Klaus Nielsen. So good to hear. You know, Fusion ECT does just a great job, everybody. Keeping track of the series, keeping track of where people should be in the series as far as the grade, all of the categories go, making sure that the racing is as fair as it possibly can be between all the riders, and everybody's racing against who they ought to be racing out on Zwift here. So back in with the front end of the race, though, in the A categories, they're about to come over the top of the Epic KOM. We're probably looking at, from what I can see, one of the faster times we've ever seen out here. Perhaps are we going to be in 18 minutes? Here are your predictions there for the climb over the top here. We have been over 5 watts per kilogram for the duration, I think, of the entirety of the climb, with a 10-second, 16-second gap, actually. Altodown and Mads Bang Anderson are showing themselves to be the strongmen on the climb. And this is a serious situation for the standings, actually, as Christian Oftedal currently sits in 9th place overall. Only 2 races. And the KISS Racing team here could jump into contention, actually, a little bit with Oftedal. For at least a top 5, actually. If Oftedal is able to grab a win out here, that will bump him up to 56 points. And 56 points is a top 5 situation, actually. Anders Jensen, along with Jesper Adderman, Bert Hansen, Mike Davis, all in between him and 4th place. Mads Bang Anderson, who is sitting on the wheel, though, of Oftedal, or trading places here, actually, with Oftedal on and off with a 20-second gap here. He's currently sitting in 4th place with 67 points. So that would put Oftedal only 10 points off to Mads Bang Anderson if he gets the better of him on the line. It's 20 points the first, 18 points the second, though. Mads Bang Anderson, he'd be able to grab quite a few points. It's your best 7, though. So the reality is Anderson does not have as much to gain with a first or second place position across the line. Oftedal only has 2 races. It's your best 7. Anderson, already with 7 races, will only gain as many points as he betters his worst race. So his worst race would be replaced by whatever he gets on this race. If it's, obviously it is going to be better as he only has a 3rd and a 2nd. So if he gets 2nd or better today, he will up his points, but not by nearly as much as Oftedal. So Oftedal has a lot to gain here. And because of that, I think Oftedal is going to be super motivated to try and make this break happen. But we are seeing quite a few riders behind now starting to respond, knowing that the Epic KOM is about to finish here. We're seeing A. Brown here, 8 watts per kilogram, really out of the saddle now, 592 watts here. Dig Deep coaching with Dan Fleeman here, 7 seconds back here, now bumping it up. This is the last 2 minutes of the climb, maybe even less. This is always where you can really throw all the chips on the table, and this is usually where I get into stand up and go mode, as you can see the Epic KOM banner here. There's the Mountain Goat. And who's going to be the GOAT on the day is going to be the question here. Maybe not greatest of all time, but greatest of all time trials to the top of the KOM perhaps here, as we've got 6.4 watts per kilogram coming from A. Brown, looking for that blue polka dot jersey. Bank here now 4.2. Oftedal now trying to jump onto the wheel. 3 riders here over the top. That gap is going to go out a little bit if they do not fade. And with a time over the top of 18:05, boys and girls. That is absolutely flying. And we're looking at probably a 5.5 watts per kilogram or more for the duration. Hodge now with an 18:17, coming over the top about 11, 12 seconds back from these 3 that are off the front now. Oftedal now, knowing that this is a moment of truth in the race here, trying to extend the gap out, continues on with 5 watts per kilogram. The rest of the riders fading now, 37 kilometers per hour, as you can see here. Oftedal now from the KRT team here, now 92 RPMs, hammering away, and it looks like gaining speed and time. Now, the reality is, though, there's a larger group behind making this chase. As we do look through here, it is going to be 4 or 5 riders now. Actually, yeah, and it looks, 6 riders now. Vang, 4.7, it looks like. Drycott there, 2.5. Dig Deep coaching with Dan Fleeman's made it. Kalman there as well. That is your current series leader. James Hodge is able to go with him, and Soren Bay there from Fusion. Spoke too soon about the likes of James Hodges. This boy can climb. KRT still involved in the overall for the series. Oftedal looking to get involved in a top 10 situation, top 5 situation with a win out there today. He is off the front there with 8 seconds here. Mads Bang Anderson from Fusion ECT working alongside of him here. Oftedal continues to kick 6 watts per kilogram with a 45-second gap. It's 28 kilometers, we were told, from the top to the bottom. So going to be interesting here with these 3 riders off the front now. Back in with the B category, though, as they start to make their way toward the top as well. And this is that last couple of seconds, last 2 minutes to the top here. 6% gradient years, they start to kick here. Olsen now going to the front now. It's going to be Boston there as well. TFC now going backwards, it looked like, with Blundred now. And then it's going to be Martin Tucker here, 4.3 watts per kilogram, taking some speed into this one of the only downhill sections on the Epic KOM. At the front, though, is going to be Fusion Dev here, 175 beats per minute, 4.4 watts per kilogram, absolutely demolishing this climb right now. But what is the watts per kilogram? That's going to be the question for a lot of these riders as they make their way over the top. We are seeing 4.8 currently coming from Clickguard, as well as a little bit too much there as well coming from Anders. Nick Nellis there from TFC, 4.5. 4.5 there coming from Olsen, as well as Blundred, 4.7. I mean, the B category, it looks like the top 15 are going to all be getting an upgrade, or right on the edge of an upgrade here, perhaps. Maybe top 10 only, depending on how stringent we are on that. I mean, it is a pretty big jump into that A category, but it looks like, as we said earlier, this always is the situation when we do jump into these climbing races. You cannot hide the wattage on a 20-minute all-out effort to the top of a climb like this. And because of that, we a lot of times do see these upgrade type situations out here. So as you do see the riders here making their way to the top in the B category, most likely going to be a whole lot of upgrades coming on through here. But we are looking at the BRT rider here, Mark Worthington, as well as Alexis Luge. And these riders we are seeing right around that 4.0 watts per kilogram. So perhaps this is going to be the group that's going to be official out there. Pete there from Dirt Team here, coming out of USA, leading things out. Bachelor just ahead of him, though, with a little bit of a break, it looks like now. Looking to try and maybe get a gap over the top of the climb here, riding for Team CLS in game. No, Blundred F2P is below 250 watts, so he is still a B. We're hearing from Michael Wozniak. Thank you so much for the information. I appreciate it very much. Go Common, we're hearing from Dennis Norager there. Good to see Dennis jumping in over at the YouTube channel. Charlie Ryan's out here as well, saying, good luck to everyone. Now, this is one of the riders here that's currently in the top spots in the C category. Charlie Ryan, currently in 3rd place overall. Greetings from North Cyprus. This is beer is tasty nice. Shout out to Jamie Blythe, NTR, riding for his first Fusion ride. And only holiday yeah, I'm on holiday, Nathan, missing the pain. Hope to see you out there soon, though, in the next coming weeks. So we're getting one of his teammates out there to replace him on the day. Absolute suffering. I am seeing Jamie Blythe out there from MTR. It looks like currently sitting in a top 10 situation. We'll see if we can find him out on course now. So it looks like the riders in the C category, though, now starting to make their way toward the top of this climb as they get into the final few meters of the climb. And it's going to be Alst here coming out of the Netherlands, hammering away with the here. It is going to be Blythe here. We were talking about just a moment ago, 4.9 watts per kilogram. We'll give him a ride on as he sits on Dahlen's wheel. Richard Dahlen there currently sitting in 2nd place overall in the series there. Knez is there as well, and Verleden's there at 2.6 watts per kilogram, backing off just a little bit. Lund now taking over toward the front, coming out of Denmark, but the Belgian rider now to the front there, 161 beats per minute. Everybody's starting to hold hands a little bit as it's been quite the climb. We're probably looking at solid effort of around 25 minutes for the C's over the top. For the B category, we are looking at about 21 minutes over the top, but that is going to be for the riders that perhaps are going to be getting some upgrades out there. It is a 1 minute gap here off the front there for that B category, as we are seeing Bachelor tried to hang on, unable to do so. Ducker there with Pete, as well as Worthington trying to jump back on to the wheel there. Looks like that's going to be happening. We're going to get a large group that does swell here at the as they make their way down the climb with those group dynamics out there. So off the front though, Bachelor 9.2 watts per kilogram, trying to hang on to a gap or create even more of a gap as they sprint down the hill, 146 beats per minute now. And they are continuing to open up the gap just a little bit. Lexus Luge getting into that super tuck though, that does give them a narrow power up out on course there. Sim from Cryogen there looking to jump back onto the wheels too, it looks like, as he takes over the front. And I believe they will bring this back. There is a slight, well, not a slight actually, a very steep uphill grade, as you can see on the right-hand side of the screen there. They're about to take that on. I think that is going to be the moment where they will be able to bring a few of these riders back, unless Pete as well as Tucker and Bachelor have huge watts to give over the top. It does look like they have some orange numbers here, as we do see 8 watts per kilogram, 10 watts per kilogram. They're tuning there, it looks like here, knowing that this is a moment that they need to get back onto the wheels there. It looks like Auerbach there coming out of Germany, 8 watts per kilogram, closing things down, going to be the lead out man. Sim there now trying to go with it. Looks like Blades as well as Gimri here going. Gimri now off the back though, it looks like 7 seconds. 2 Gimris actually. There's a couple of them, SSX Express, P Gimri, unable to hang on to the teammates wheel there. Most likely battling it out next to each other. Pretty cool to see as they're out on course here. Worthington here now, 4 seconds up, it looks like. Kroll now getting the gap, and it's going to be a gap of 4 seconds back to Gimri as well as Blade. So that's a split here in the situation for the main chase group in that B category. Worthington here now taking over the BRT team. 43 seconds up, though, to the main pack in this B category. Back in with the A's as they make their way left-hand turn on over toward the jungle loop. They have finished up the Watopia climb and come off the mountain at this point. And as we do see them descend into the jungle here, only 33 seconds. That is not enough. I've been in this exact situation before, and they need more than even what they have over Lursveen and Dreycott. Lursveen, with 3rd overall currently, is going to be extremely motivated, I think, to try and bring this back here. 3.8 watts per kilogram is going to be keeping it steady here. Only 3.1 coming from Morton Vang as well as Far Up here now. Far Up on the front, though, 4.6 watts per kilogram. Working against his teammate, perhaps, though. It'd be interesting to see if Far Up starts to try and control things. Kalman, though, he's going to have the motivation to not allow Lursveen and the rest to come on back to the wheels here. And here's the thing. Early on in this racing series, we have seen that for the overalls, it hasn't been very close. Alexis Kalman had a huge gap over the rest of the racers here, the current reigning Danish national champion. But things have changed, that's for sure. And let's go ahead and take a quick look at how they've changed up here. Here's the current series standings, actually. And Alexis Kalman here, as you can see, only with 90 points. Simon Nielsen, 83. Stian Lursveen, the rider who is trying to make that chase right now, is only 12 points behind. Averaging 11.1, though, per race here with 7 races in. Alexis, though, has so much to gain on each one of the races. He only has 5 races in. Is your best 7 races count. So Alexis here, obviously, with only 5 races, is going to have a lot to gain on the day. Again, Mads Bang Anderson off the front, as we said earlier, with the likes of Christian Oftendal, who's currently sitting in 9th place. If he gains a win here, Christian Oftendal will grab that 20 points and able to really bump himself up from 9th place all the way right behind Mads Bang Anderson. But Anderson has gone with him. And as we do look here, we can see in the live results for the A categories, we go ahead and jump in here. This is the situation right now. The gap is not much at all. They got the jungle climb coming up here in just a few moments. So going to be interesting to see how this ends up playing out in this A category. We jump back in with the racers now. It is here, 36 seconds now. Altadal, bang, on the downhill descent, but they got to keep this pace very high. A. Brown is in there with them as well. He's going to be a workhorse, perhaps just looking for some point stealing on the front, or perhaps just going to be the extra body that keeps the speeds high enough. And that does actually have an impact. With 6 riders on the chase here, it's going, 2 together on Zwift, not nearly as strong as a cord, 3 cords tied together here out here. I mean, that's going to be a very strong effort here from these front 3 here, able to battle it out against the chasing 5 now. So Lursveen here, 25 seconds back, though. It looks like the motivation is on him today as Drykot not really looking to work too much with him. 3.6 watts per kilogram in the front. Lursveen can bring this back. It's probably going to happen on the climb, though, and he's going to have to go all in to make that happen, because if they do not bring that back on the climb out of the jungle and back over toward the Watopia mountain, they do not climb the mountain again, but they still have to do the foothills out of the jungle. And because of that, I think that if they do not make that juncture at that section over the bridge and onto the downhill, it's going to be just too fast. The speeds are too high, and I think it'll all be said and done. So Lursveen, in 9th place currently, might be seeing some of his series points slip away from him, and a few riders gain on him for that last race coming up next week. Looking through here, Jason Stern. Good to see Jason Sterney hanging out from coming at us from the dirt team here. Stern, 1,800 emails giving me agitation here. Well, I'm glad that we can hang out with you as we go through the emails with you out here today, as well as the Zwift Racing. Sorry, but what climb was that? I'm in pain watching. We're hearing from Harry Stevenson. Harry Stevenson, that was the Epic KOM Forward. So that's where you want to go for your 20-minute repeats, essentially, over and over and over again. If you've got 3x20s on the day, load up the Epic KOM and on you go. And that's one of the best workouts you could possibly get. Is this like a Danish racing league? We're hearing from David Hoffmeyer. David Hoffmeyer, it is the Fusion ECT Racing League, but it is definitely is put on by a Danish team. So a lot of the racers that you will see out there will be coming out of Denmark, but not exclusive to the Danes whatsoever. Nice to see Danish KRT team out in force. We're hearing from John Stedman as well. We're seeing tough race for John Bragensky. We're seeing who has done 8-hour MTB race this Sunday. Hang in there. Save something for WTRL team time trial. We're hearing from Alexander Lexi Lighton. Thanks for jumping in here as well. Got to get the kids to bed. Thanks a lot for jumping into the broadcast as well as Gino. So let us know what you think is going to happen, though, chat. As the boys here at the front in the A category, B category, C category, whoever you're cheering on, D category out there, let us know who you think is going to win. Current situation in the A category, we got a break happening with 3 off the front, but A Brown struggling as they're about to start the climb out of the jungle actually here. But it's going to be Mads Bang Anderson and Christian Altendal looking to better their situation in the overalls for the series in Fusion ECT. Race number 9 out here, 10 race series that's been going on here starting back in August, excuse me. 49 seconds back though to the chase group containing Hodges, Farup, Vang, and Soren Bang Kalman. Some serious climbers involved here in this group here. Did Altendal and Bang put too much out there for the Epic KOM? That's going to be a question here, trying to climb out of the jungle. And the jungle is not just a climb up to the up to that rope bridge. It's actually all the way out to the entrance to the jungle loop area, actually. So I believe that this is going to be a moment of truth in this race, actually. Lursveen, though, here with only 21 seconds, this would be the ride of the day. If Stian Lursveen can come back to the wheels and get back involved in this race, with his 3rd place currently overall, this would definitely be the story on the day if he can make this happen. Falling off on that Epic KOM and dragging that avatar back here. Farup, who is involved here from the Vikings, perhaps trying to hold things up. And Hodge is now seeing that perhaps Lursveen is making that chase from KRT, now going to the front, 7 watts per kilogram, knowing that this is when it needs to happen. Been reserving maybe for this moment. And we've seen Hodges time and time again do some crazy efforts like this off the front. Kalman knows that this is a situation that he needs to get involved with, because James Hodges has broken pack after pack the last couple of weeks, especially last week in the Power Up Stages Tour, in the Power Up Tour stages last week out on the UCI Worlds course. We saw him in those climbing situations, especially climbs like this that are not extremely long, able to kick in the 6 watts per kilogram for the duration of the climb and break away from the rest of them. He's got the TT effort here, and KRT now looking to go If he gets involved here with Oftedal, they'd have 2 in the break here. Oftedal most likely not going to be putting too much effort at the front. Going to be sitting in and waiting for his teammate to come across on the climb. KRT showing that they've got the tactics out here today. Now, if you did want to be involved in the A category for just a reality check here and the kind of watts that they've been putting out, Christian Oftedal has put out 4.9 watts per kilogram for the duration, 313 watts for 38 minutes here out here today. Mads Bang entered at 4.7 watts per kilogram, 305 so far out there today. James Hodges is out there at 295 average, 4.5 watts per kilogram. Soren Bay, 4.5. Morten Vang has put out 5 watts per kilogram for a solid 40 minutes straight only, almost actually. So huge amounts of effort being put out here. Now we do have the Vikings here involved still at the front now. 2 riders here, Steen Lerson, Kittel far up there as well. KRT, though, with 3 racers there, Morten Vang, James Hodges, Christian Oftedal, all in the top 5 here at this point. Christian Oftedal out the front with those 3. Morten Vang and James Hodges in the chase situation. If they do go across, there's going to be 3 in this front group from KRT, able to steal a whole lot of points here. Steen Lersfien, though, off the back there. It looks like still unable to close this down. Steen Lersfien now 110 back from this main group. Going to be maybe too much to ask here. Looks like here 31 seconds, though, is the difference, and it's going out now instead of coming back. And that's what happens when you have to chase solo with 2 riders. You burn too many matches. And now it looks like this group, though, is bringing back that front group. 37 seconds is all the difference is. It was almost out to a minute at the one point. So Oftedal here now trying to hold on to the pace being set at the front here. I believe with Mads Bang Anderson, with some teammates behind, Fusion teammates there behind as well, with 2 of them, Soren Bay and Kalman, he may be interested actually in bring that group coming back to him, as it's going to be a 3v3 situation. It's Brown who's the wild card actually amongst these riders here, as it's Fusion ECT, Vikings, as well as KRT. I believe the Vikings are the ones that are getting the free ride out there with Farah, perhaps, if he's able to hang on over the top of this climb. Jason, good to see what's going on here, as Andy Jenner jumping on in here saying, are those all outstanding applications to join Dirt? We're hearing from Andy Jenner for the 1800 emails. We're seeing here Charlie Ryan as well jumping into the chat as well. Owen Hasleby saying, when you say we want to go on that climb, Owen, is, yeah, I mean, the reality is I'm not sure that you guys want to go on the climb, but I believe there is most definitely, it's not an opportunity. That's the way we need to look at it, right, Owen? It's opportunity to take down the rest of the riders out there. I appreciate the comment there, Owen, jumping into the broadcast as well. So for some reason we have a Discord out there, you know, just so you guys know. We do have a Discord channel. Go ahead and jump on into the Discord. For some reason, it looks like it wanted to promote itself out there today. If you do want to jump in the Discord, you can go ahead and find that over at our website, zwiftcommunitylive.com, zwiftcommunitylive.com. The Discord, if you're unfamiliar with what Discord app and you're just jumping into the broadcast here, we do sometimes post-race interviews over there, but there's also a voice communication app you can use to interact with the riders. A lot of these riders actually, and these teams out here, the KISS Racing team, Fusion, I believe, are using a Discord here. I know that Team Experimental uses a Discord. They have their own server, free server to set up, and you can go ahead and jump on in there either through your mobile or through your PC or Apple. They work on any of those platforms, and you're able to communicate live like a team radio between the rest of the riders, make attacks when you want to. And I believe the KRT, with how organized they've been out here today, are using some sort of a Discord or a chat, maybe perhaps through the mobile app here out on Zwift here. 48 seconds. It looks like this is not coming back. Oftedal has been absolutely hammering here, it looks like, and able to stick this able to really stick this break, as we are going to jump back in with the B categories. They're starting to climb out of the jungle. This is the current situation. Top 10 here now as we do look at Blundred here, 4.8 watts per kilogram. T. Olsen there toward the front. It looks like 1 second up to the Fusion Dev rider there. I believe it is going to be upgrade, though. They're coming from the Fusion Dev rider, Clickguard there, but it's going to be Nellis there. TFC now on the attack, trying to go away here. 6.5 watts per kilogram coming from Nellis there. T. Olsen there coming out of Denmark, trying to chase that down. 1 175. Bowsen here trying to go, it looks like, up and out of the saddle, grabbing onto the wheel. Lexus Luge now 6.9. This is the rider who's in third overall here, trying to defend at least that spot for the WBR team out here on course. Race 3R. Now it's BRT there with Rudington, Blundred, as well as Tucker now trying to go across now. Dirt there with the Pete there, as well as Bachelor. Huge group at this point. Sim there from Cryogen now. Off the back, though, it looks like 56 seconds, though. So it's going to be Bachelor trying to hang on. 6.2 watts per kilogram. Up and out of the saddle here, it looks like. Tuna now trying to jump on as well, making his way to the left-hand side of the pack. But the gap has formed as Nellis has 2 seconds now. Trying to go across quickly here as things string out. Backing off, hand-holding time, perhaps. Miss Boswin, though, gets the gap, and that's going to be the rider who wins out because of those attacks here. Backing off, looking to gather their energy before the next attacks over there and out of the climb now. Back in with the C category, they are just heading into the climb in just a moment here as we're looking at the top 9 situation. Verledens here, the winner last week in on the Keytail after party. Currently sitting in 4th place is going to be Blith here from the NTR. Eddie here off the front there coming out of France. And Novkis as well as Nierik. But these riders, I believe, all going to be getting upgrades for that C category that are off the front by 31 seconds or more. So Blythe here now, I believe, going to be the official race lead currently perhaps. But Dahlin there for the Vikings. Lund, Knez there as well for the Dirt team. Breckman for R2. That's the current situation. No teams able to team up here, as it's all going to be just riders without anybody to work with here. So it looks like Alistair riding undetached as well as Lund out on course here. So solid group here as they do make their way on over toward the climb out of the jungle. Calm, though, hand-holding time a little bit here. 3.2 watts per kilogram. Excuse me on that, actually, as this is, as you do look at the right-hand side of the screen, you do see the current watts per kilogram, but that is relative as far as like how hard they are going, because the reality is for the C category, 3.2 is supposed to be the upper end of their threshold. So Blythe here taking poles well over threshold, trying to chase things down at the front end of this race, actually. So putting in a crazy effort here at 163 beats per minute. Back in with the A's, though, things are starting to heat up as they do make the final climb out of the jungle. Only 32 seconds here, and it is going to be James Hodges again on the attack. And he's almost got them within sight, actually, as we look down from the helicopter here. 4 riders able to break far up, it looks like, here from the Vikings team. The Vikings team really the ones that are losing out on the day here, it looks like, as Hodges pushes 6.3 watts per kilogram on the front here as they climb out of that jungle, go through this valley, looking at either side of the KOM, actually. 36 seconds. They're not out of the woodwork here yet. That's really going to be Brown that's going to be pushing the pace, though, at the front here. Off the down, trying to hang on. 8 watts per kilogram real quick. Kick in here in order to try and hang on to this gap that they formed. 41 seconds, and they can feel, I think, the heat. But off the down with 0 watts per kilogram, this looks like a dropout situation, actually. There's no RPMs, actually, and this, no, off the down, after all of that work, off the back now, 8 watts per kilogram. He's got to jump back on. Perhaps Mads Bang Anderson going to wait up, perhaps. You know, that is such a mechanical situation. It looks like Oftedal probably banging his handlebars right now. Jumping into 8 watts per kilogram. 1 second back. He's able to just claw his way back here. That was so close. And it was nail biting a little bit there, I think, for Altadal to try and make sure he does not lose. But was too many matches burnt there in that situation, actually. Good question here coming on through, actually, from David Hoffmeyer. How big a difference between, arrow difference between 3 and 5 do you think? I feel like Brown bridging chased, let's go ahead and take a look at this. This is a great question, actually, David. And, difference between 3 and 5. Do you think, I feel like Brown bridging changed the race to make breaks staying away much more likely? I absolutely agreed, actually, David Hoffmeyer. Essentially, the way that the drafting works in Zwifted is it does kind of create a drafting bubble. Like, you do draft on a single individual, but there is a kind of draft given all around the rider. And when you have more riders, it does increase the draft that does happen, just like in real life with a pack. So having one more body in there in order to reserve energy and find the places where you can take that speed through, there is just reality that that extra body out there definitely changes up the race. So great observation there coming on through from David. Mark Plow's going, could be fun to set all A guys in the same weight and crown the powerhouse of the day. Liking that idea, and maybe a race mode that we should set up, Mark, out there, perhaps on a different kind of course here as well. So Lucas Towers coming. What happened to Dan Fleeman? This is a great question, actually, Lucas. I have no idea because he was involved. He was at the front end, and perhaps a dropout, internet, perhaps something happened there, or maybe a full-on blow-up. But knowing Dan Fleeman, it's not like him at all to fall off, as we did see an amazing climb from him up over the top of the Keith Hill after party out on London last week. All right, coming into the final Ks here, we're going to be taking a left-hand turn on over toward the finish line in just a moment here, and it's still a 38-second gap, actually. Kalman, though, actually on the attack a little bit here on the front now. Far up here trying to get back involved here from the Vikings team. Huge effort here coming from far up, and that was on the downhill. It looks like he rested up on the downhill. What a tactic here coming from far up, because he, I believe, just got into that aero tuck on the downhill and then sprinted with his speed off of that extreme downhill into this section of the course and was able to grab back on here. 49 seconds is the difference. I'm not sure they're bringing this back, though, as Oftedal continues to push the pace here at the front end of this race. Now, back in with the B category as they're climbing out of the as they climb out of this section of the course here, out on the jungle loop. It looks like Tucker here looking to try and take over. Now Nielsen here moving up toward the front there in the blue kit there from the Fusion Dev team. Now Worthington from the BRT team, as well as Nellis sitting in as well. Solid contingent here, it looks like, of about 1, 2, 3, looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 riders here now. Tucker now going off the front. Nellis trying to break things apart now a little bit. No, Bachelor actually is the rider. And this rider's been extremely aggressive so far in this B category on that green Tron bike riding for the CLS team now. A little bit of a gap here. Trying to bring things back. Looks like Nellis TFC closing it down a little bit, but this looks like perhaps it is walking away a little bit. And on this downhill, Bachelor, we have seen him put down some solid watts for little kicks. He may be able to do something with this. 6 watts per kilogram coming from our Bachelor out of the UK here. Blundred now seeing that this may be a threat, bumps to 4 watts per kilogram. I don't think any of the riders have anything to respond to this with, though. As you can see, they're kind of just stuck at that threshold situation here, 4 watts per kilogram. And even coming over the top, they were looking for rest, as you can see, then back off to 2 watts per kilogram. 4 seconds. Bachelor's going to have a continuance, though, as he goes into 7 watts per kilogram momentarily to try and grab some speed. Now backing up to 1.9. Keeping that speed high, though, 27 miles per hour, you can see there. 3.2 now coming from Olsen here, 25. So he's got the speed. It's still about speed, everybody. It's not necessarily just about watts per kilogram. On the climbs, yes, that's what produces the speed mainly. But, you know, it's using the power to gain the speed as best as you possibly can with each section of the course out here. And Bachelor continues to start to go away, and this may be a race-winning move here for Bachelor as he backs off to 2.3 and then back up into a sprint over and over again, looking to just continue to use this downhill section as he's 50 minutes of racing in here. Solid effort here now. And we're hearing from David Hoffmeyer saying that Dan Fleeman left to join another race, and that may be because he's not involved in the overalls actually for this race, and so perhaps just looking to get a good start on there out there today, and then jumped into another race out there. So, but good to see Fleeman jumping in here momentarily, and we look to see him perhaps out there for the race. The next racing league that Fusion ECT has announced. I believe it is starting on the 22nd. I don't believe the details are necessarily set in stone official just yet, but from what I was reading, it does look like we're looking at the 22nd of October for a winter series. Kalman here with a 1 second gap here, not leaving anything to chance in a sprint, it looks like. Soren Bay now 7.9 watts per kilogram to jump back onto the Fusion Riders wheel there. Vang there from KRT looking to go across. Where is James Hodges? There he is off the front actually. He's actually the one that was on the attack, it looks like, and it's Soren Bay and Kalman there looking to respond to him. He's looking to take over this 4th place in the overall for the race here. Oftedal still off the front with 3 riders, and this is the race lead situation still as they do come through the Italian Village. Looks like they're taking a left-hand turn past the Scotty the Squirrel Fountain, giving a little extra K here. They will not be going through the Essies or the Sprint Banner. They're heading through the Volcano out here today, and going to be a little bit of a 2-tier climb into the Volcano. And then as they exit that, they'll be looking at about 2 kilometers to the finish line. Kalman now 33, 34 seconds back here. Kalman down as they do head through the Italian division here as they do bring back Hodges. Kalman now 5-5 on the front there, Danish national champion, showing us why he is the powerhouse so far in this series. But it does not look like the series leader is going to be able to take another win here for the overall standings. And that, you know, as we were saying, definitely is going to change things up a little bit. You know, with Bang Anderson off the front here, 67 points currently. We'll see how much he can gain. Oftedal, again, if he takes the win, we are looking at a solid jump of 20 points from 36 points. Again, this is the current situation in the series overall. This is, as you can see, Alexei Kalman currently first place, 90 points. But Oftedal, this has been the story of the day. He's off the front here. With 3 riders. He gets the win. He's going to grab that 20 points, going to jump himself 56 points up here, going to be all the way up to 5th place. And for the last race, he, you know, from 56 at another 20, we're looking at 76. He could get into a situation where 4th overall, I'm not sure, though, with Mads Bang Anderson up there with him as well. Not sure he's going to be able to do so. Maybe 4th, 5th place overall is the best that he can do because of all of the races that were missed. But 49 seconds still. Don't believe this can be coming back. It's been a big day off the front, though, and Kalman and the rest of this chase group, if they really ramp things up, there could be about 3 or 4 kicks to the finish line. It's not over yet. You can bring back a minute in these last few Ks. They'd have to be very motivated, and we'd have to see essentially some infighting in that group behind. The way that infighting would have to go down is just like this. By Soren Bay pushing the kick off the front. This is exactly what I was talking about. 9 watts per kilogram. Morten Vang is going to respond. Then if KRT counters this, or they just continue to just push each other and push each other with these sprints, immediately 36 seconds, you know, it comes down 10 seconds right off the bat here. Brown, it looks like, going to be leading things out at 5.2 watts per kilogram. They're going to have to stay consistent now, as these boys behind are not going to be able to continue to push these 9, 10 watts per kilogram over and over again for too long here. But Oftedal here, as we do see, 48 seconds now is the gap now. But over the top, they're going to be having another kick in just a moment, I believe, as they do hit this 2-tier. I do not think that these riders are going to have the same orange numbers through this 2-tier climb here. So not over. These boys are definitely looking behind them, looking over the shoulder, thinking about the chasers behind. Oftedal now, 5.8 watts per kilogram in the front, 174 beats per minute. Amongst these riders, the question also is who's got the sprint? We see him take over at the front there, the KRT rider, Fusion, just glued to the wheel there with Mads Bang Anderson now. And looking through for these riders' sprint efforts, Mads Bang Anderson, Christian Oftedal, let's get a comparison here between them, as they we're looking at uphill sprinter here for Oftedal, I believe it is, Christian Oftedal, level 33 Zwifter here, 145 races out on Zwift. For a uphill sprint, 13.44 watts per kilogram, we're seeing 866 watts actually. And for a 15-second, his best that we've seen recently, 3-hour Richmond flat race, was a 13.4. Mads Bang Anderson out there, level 43, with 363 races out there, weighing in at a solid 65 kilograms. Obviously a solid climber out there. His best 15 seconds, also a 13.4. These boys are actually head-to-head in a sprint situation. This is going to turn out to be very interesting with these riders. Now, I am looking through and seeing that Brown is actually not in the results currently. Not sure if he has not registered with ZwiftPower.com perhaps. And so for the overalls in the results, the official results, unless he does register immediately with ZwiftPower.com after the race, I'm not sure how the race organizers do run that, but he will not be in the official community results. So from what we're seeing is he's not being tracked currently. I can go ahead and show you guys the current situation over on ZwiftPower.com. Mads Bang Anderson currently here, 4.8, 4.7 from the 2 leaders here. As you can see, we do not see that rider. Now, if you are watching the broadcast and you are a racer and you do not see yourself in these live results, make sure to head on over to Zwift.com, log in, and on your profile, on your settings, on your Zwift profile, you can connect ZwiftPower.com with the backend API connection. You have to agree to it, though, to share your information with ZwiftPower.com if you want to. Obviously, it is not required, but it is required for the community races. So Soren Bay here with this gap, though. This is a situation. Oftedal there now, only 11 seconds. Soren with the attack through the Volcano. Will he just monster his way up, pure power his way up to these riders here? And he definitely is showing himself to be one of the strongest riders on Zwift out of Denmark. This is why he is a former national champion of Zwift here. But I don't think it's going to be happening, as Oftedal just looks to not be in a sprint situation, actually, with a 4-meter gap now. He's almost got the 5 meters here at this point. Oftedal showing that he does not want to sprint. We said it was almost even head-to-head, but it looks like he does not want to be taking that risk. 4 seconds now, 4 meters, 5 meters, nope, back to 3. Looks like Mads Bang Anderson able to close things down. Brown now just letting things go, perhaps. 4 watts per kilogram here. The gap is out here now for Brown. 8 meters. He does not have a draft and now has to bump into about 6 watts per kilogram to get back on terms here. Oftedal continues on, but it's the pure waters that counts, and I believe here Brown does have that as he sits on here. Now, there are no power-ups in these races, you boys and girls, so it's going to be all about who's got the tactics and the sprint to the line. We're coming into the last 500 meters now. Brown now setting up. It looks like Oftedal sitting in a little bit, looking for a wheel to allow Bang to go to the front there. Now Morton, it looks like, Mads Bang Anderson backing off as well. Does not want to take the lead. Nobody wanting the wind in the face. They allow Brown to go to the front. 0 watts per kilogram. Where's the kick? Whoever goes first is most likely going to take it because everybody's going so slow at this point here. Here comes Mads Bang Anderson. It looks like 15 watts per kilogram from Oftedal, though. Oftedal 15.8, 16 watts per kilogram from Oftedal. Oftedal looks to be coming around, timing things just perfectly. Mads looking for a second kick here. It looks like Brown's going to take the official on the day for in-game, but it's Christian Oftedal grabbing the most, Katal Oftedal grabbing the points on there today and grabs 20 points across the line. What a race there coming from the rider, and absolutely demolishing it out there today. We're not, sorry guys, I'm gonna try and jump back in with the boys here, but now Soren Bay jumps across the line here. We did leave the event, so we cannot get back in. It's one of the situations with when you do jump into a Zwift race. We'll see if we can jump back in here by grabbing perhaps a few of the riders that are behind in just a moment, and through a couple of our other means. But we are back in with the B category. This is the current leader out there as they're making their way to the finish line here in the B category. What an effort there, though, by the rider Oftedal, killing it there for KRT, and that is a huge result, actually, to be able to grab that. Now, we do have a sprint situation here. I was able to find the rest of the A's here. This is for a top 10 now. Ooms here off the front, coming out of the Netherlands, actually. Lursveen, 11 watts per kilogram, coming on like a freight train. Lursveen, this is for the third group out on course now. And Clark here, BRT, 13 watts per kilogram. Maybe not able to climb with the pure climbers here, but he's got the sprint. And it's going to be Nigel Clark, and that's actually meaningful to be able to take that over the top of Lursveen out here. We'll see how many points he does gain from that. Tom of Kalen now across the line for the KRT team as well. We'll bring the results up here in just a moment. What an effort there, though, from those A category riders. Now, with the race being over the top of the KOM, it's going to be a longer day to the finish line, just so everybody knows. So it's going to take, the B's and the C's starting a minute back, and then the reality of having a lower functional threshold power for watts per kilogram. It's just going to take a little bit longer for all the riders to get to the line. So as the B category does round things out, Worthington, though, closing things down. Bachelor with a huge effort to make things happen, but they've chased him down, and now we do have a solid group of about 9 riders making their way to the line for the B category win here. So solid effort by Bachelor, but looks like with 2 seconds, the difference here, not going to be happening. A lot of matches burned, I think, already as well. So let's go ahead and take a quick look and see if we do have our results up for the A category as they made their way to the line. It was amazing, amazing result out there coming from the A's. As I do look through here, it looks like Fusion ECT. We're going to have to use ZwiftPower.com this week, I believe, as we do not have an update just yet for our graphics on the broadcast here, but we do have at least the live ticker updated results here. It is going to be Christian Oftedal across the line for first place. Let's go ahead and see if we can grab this for everybody real quickly. And this is the current situation for the overall results. Here's your top 9. Adrian Timmis, it looks like, coming across along the line, I believe, for 10th, but he did come across there with Mark Shaw, Wesley Ooms, and a few others there. So we'll have to wait and see for the update here for the live results here. Stian Lerstring, though, finished 9th place. Nigel Clark there, as we did see him in the sprint just a moment ago there for 8th. Morton Vang 7th. James Hodges coming across the line in 6th. Castell Farr up there coming across 5th place. Alexi Kalman there for 4th. That's your current series leader. Solidifying maybe a few more points there. Soren Bay for 3rd. What an effort there coming from Soren Bay, grabbing that 15 seconds through the Volcano. Mads Bang Anderson and Christian Oftedal. That was the ride of the day, though, with Christian Oftedal breaking things over the top of the climb for the rest of the riders. And amazing result there for them. And here's the results. Apologies on not able to bring it in through the graphics out there today. But at 1 hour on the big loop, Christian Oftedal taking it down only 1/10 of a second there ahead of Mads Bang Anderson there. Soren Bay there for 3rd. Mentioned to Tom O'Kalen, rounded out the top 10 just now, followed up by Wesley Ooms for CLS, Adrian Timmis, Nicholas Dreycott, and that's going to be Jens Thorgensen. Top 15 is going to be with Mark Shaw. Coming into the line, though, with the B category. We'll take a look at the replays here in just a moment, but amazing results here coming in from the A's. Now in with the Bs as they round the corner here into the left-hand turn into the underpass. About 500 meters to go to the line here. Tucker leading things out, as you can see. It's going to be Alexis Luge, though, with the most to gain, I think, amongst these riders. I believe he is sitting in a top 3 or so overall in the series overalls. As I do look at the current series situation in this B category, he is in 3rd place with 7 races and 57 points. He's going to have to take out the, well, actually, he has the most to gain because none of the other leaders in the series are even here. Alexis Luge, 10 watts per kilogram, goes very early, actually. It might be too early. Do the other riders have a kick at all? We are seeing 12 watts per kilogram here coming from Worthington behind here, and now Mark Worthington, 12 watts per kilogram coming from him, and I think because of that downhill speed he carried in, Luge going just too early, and it's going to be Mark Worthington, BRT, across the line. Solid effort there coming from Worthington to take the win here, and Worthington actually currently sitting in 8th place overall in the series. With 2 races, takes a win, 20 points for BRT rider here. That's going to bump him up maybe perhaps to, from what I can see, let's go ahead and take a quick look here. Mark Worthington, 2 races, 32 points. If he grabs 20 points here, we'll have to wait for the official results. That's going to push him up, right up against, actually, Alexis Luge. Luge is going to have to be watching out here, taking 2nd to the likes of Worthington here. 7 races in, he doesn't have quite as much to gain, so what an effort there coming through from Worthington, a late joiner to the series with only 2 races, able to really show us that he's got some efforts here in the later races here of the Fusion ECT Racing League. Back in with the C category, we've got Blythe here from the NTR team here. Charlie was cheering him on, his teammate. Charlie currently sitting in 3rd place overall for the NTR team here. Blythe taking his place this week. He cannot grab any points from obviously in the overall here, but this is a 23-second gap I do not believe is coming back. Vledens now from the BZR team from last week's winner, riding along with Dahlin as well as Nez here. Nez now, this is the series leader here. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at this situation as we do have Dahlin as well as Verledens, and we also are seeing any other riders here? Dahlin, Verledens as well as Knez here. Those are the 3 riders we really need to be watching out for. 1, 2, 1st and 2nd place, and then 5th place overall, all involved here still in this top 7 situation for the C category, actually. So we are seeing a gap here. Some of these riders up front, I believe they are going to be getting some upgrades, actually. So not too much concern with those riders. But Vledens with 4 seconds now off the front of this main pack. He has been showing up week in and week out here, letting us know that he's got an effort to try and take down the likes of this series leader out here. He's got 58 points, as we did see, a win last week. Now, I did hear rumors perhaps of Vledens here getting an upgrade, so we'll have to keep eyes on that. We're hearing Charlie Ryan in here cheering on Jamie from the NTR team, actually. So good to see the cheers coming on through from teammates here. Always awesome to see the teammates out there as they're making their way to the line here. Russell Basher, ouch, that was brutal. Russell, we saw the attack off the front. Nice go in that B category. Almost made it happen. Harry Stevenson, great footage and race. Thanks a lot, Harry Stevenson. Appreciate it. Not able to race this week or next. We're hearing from Locus. We'll hope to see you out there for the next series, though, as well. Sprinting lesson today. Stay patient. Alexander, 100%. We saw that from a lot of the riders out there, and over again. We saw it in the A category. We saw it in the B category. I think we may see it in the C category now in just a moment as they make their way to the line. There is a gap, though, with Jay Blith, and it may not come down to a sprint situation, as Jamie Blith here from NTR is off the front. But over and over again, we've seen it in the last 200 meters, specifically on this course. It's not always that way in Zwift racing, but on this course, and most courses lately, but not always, but most courses, it is all about that last 200 meters, just like in real life, that kick to the line, if you can hang on to that moment. Now, if they do get a jump on you, though, they get a break and you cannot hold on to that draft. A lot of times it does not pay off for you. So it is a risk to take waiting if somebody does sneak away. And it is, I would say sometimes it is a little bit easier to sneak away out on Zwift sometimes because of the depth perception and speed perceptions. But with 24 seconds here, Jamie Blythe here from NTR demolishing this race here. 3.5 watts per kilogram coming from Jamie Blythe here. And it looks like he will be taking the 20 points on the day. Lund here, 23 seconds back. Lenz here had that break here. And it looks like Nez here has to close this down, or Verlen's going to get the better of him this week again. Interesting to see here, the series leader maybe losing out twice in a row here. Dahlin, though, this is second overall, and I think Dahlin is just following the likes of Isaac Diaz here, and that is a smart move, actually, here, because 82 points in 5 races. Guys, this is a serious situation, actually, in this C category as we watch the riders make their way through the Volcano and going to be coming into the last 2K to go. As we do see here for the series overall, this is the situation as we watch these riders come to the line. Richard Dahlin for the Vikings team, 5 races. Isaac Nez now for Dirt team, 114 points, but he's got 7. Richard Dahlin here has the most to gain, 6 and 7. This is a situation where he is going to just grab his 7, and with 40 points to gain here, perhaps just off, perhaps. Now we're seeing, I mean, do your math there. 102. No, he can actually win this outright. This is going to come down to the last race. It's also going to come down to this sprint right here. This may matter. Currently sitting in 8th place overall, but I'm not sure all the riders up ahead in this current situation are going to be getting points or grabbing any points whatsoever from the series, because some of them may be DQ'd here. So with some of these riders being well over the category limits in the C category, I think between Isaac Canez and Richard Dahlin, this is the race out here. Johan Verledens, though, at 3.1 watts per kilogram, perhaps a situation where he's going to grab another 20 points. So it's going to be 18 points, though, up for grabs, as well as 16 points up for grabs between these two riders we're watching here, Richard Dahlin and Isaac Canez. This is for the overall in the series. This sprint really matters. We may be seeing this series win here playing out in this C category. Vlens, though, on an absolute freight train here. 5th place overall, 6 races in. He's going to be grabbing a solid 20 points. He may be taking over Charlie. No, he is taking over Charlie Ryan from NTR, it looks like, for 3rd place overall. Charlie Ryan going to have to be jumping out there next week, coming back for holiday, and showing us that he can get it done, because Johan, with 7 races, is going to be averaging, though, bumping up over 10.3 average that Charlie has been averaging, actually. So it's going to be taking this left-hand turn. 32 seconds, barring any kind of major mayhem out there. It will be Verledens across the line, 1st place, but the story behind is going to be Dahlin and Knez here. Holding hands. Look at them. 15 seconds back, Breckman. They can't hold hands for too long here. They can't just be looking at each other waiting for the sprint for too long, because Breckman's looking to take away that 6 or 8 extra points there for 2nd and 3rd place here. 10 points going to Breckman, or maybe more if he chases them down. So Verledens here off the front, though. This is the final 300 meters in this C category race here. I believe Lund and Bleth perhaps able to grab a few extra points. We'll have to wait and see if Blythe will get an official result on the day. That will be up to the race organizers. I believe at 3.5 watts per kilogram, Jamie may be getting an upgrade out there for that NTR team. Congratulations to Jamie on that. But Verledden's able to cruise across the line, hands in the air, a little bit of celebration rather than having to sprint it out here and hammer it out here. So BZR here with the win. And that is going to be jumping this rider up in that series standings fairly well here with a solid 20 points. He'll be jumping into third place overall. Look at this battle here, though, behind Dallin and Knez. 6 watts per kilogram, though. They go from 0 to everything. The dirt streaming the dirt rider here immediately getting a 1 second gap here. Richard Dallin carrying the speed, though, into the 300 meters. He's going to have some continuance here. He's got 10.5 watts per kilogram to give, it looks like, all the way to the line, but it's just too much. I've got Knez now, it looks like. Easy win, perhaps, with that jump. Dallin just waited too long, and this was for the series overall. What a sprint there between the riders there. That jump was well-timed, and that's why the speeds matter. Carrying some of the speed to the line, it really does matter, actually. And as you do see racers there making their way across the line for first, second, and third place overall. That's the situation out on course here. So let's go ahead and jump in with the replay here of the finish across the line here. And that is going to be the A category here. Here's how things did play out. And this is off the doll here. These were the two riders that were off the front there. What an amazing result here from these riders as they absolutely killed it over the top of the climb, but it was all about the sprint in the end. They were not able to break each other here. Mads Bang Anderson trying to get across here quickly here. Now as we speed things up here, off the dolls, you did see sat in the wheel, and waited for that last 100 meters here. And there it is, right to the line in the last 100 meters. He does make it happen here. It was the last kick there coming from Brown, but Brown not in the official results, and wins it by a solid bike length or so across the line there for off the doll now. So back in with the B category, though, for the sprint, the situation that ended up playing out for them for the B category was, from what we can see here, Alexis Luge with an early jump, trying to get across, trying to make things happen a little bit too early. We said patience was the name of the day of the game today, and it was Worthington as we do click back to him there. 13 watts per kilogram into that final 300 meters, coming across the line here. Alexis Luge really fading, trying to hold on. Did he hold on? It looks like he did. Across the line there for second there. It looks like Pete there from the dirt team, followed up by the Cryogen rider there, Tuna, across the line. So solid efforts there all around from them. Back in then with the results for the overalls. We're going to go ahead and take a look at them real quick as this is the situation for the A's as we saw earlier. This was the B sprint that we did see. Now, 4.6 watts per kilogram, not going to be happening there. Russell Batcher, though, with a solid break there in the B category, was able to get the better there of all of them as he came across the line. Mark Worthington, though, there for second place there, followed up by Alexis Luge in third. That is the live results. Let's see if these results have populated, though, for the overall. Not quite yet, so let's go ahead and stick in with the live results then. In the C category then, let's go ahead and see how that sprint ended up playing out as they came across the line. It was Isaac Knez there that was able to hold on with a crazy jump there. Let's go ahead and back this up just a little bit. Let's see if we can get something a little bit earlier here coming from Isaac. Now, this was the situation a little ways back here. It looks like they went from almost 500 meters here as we really get backwards. They were just looking at each other for so long, actually, and it was just this huge drawn-out sprint. So maybe not patience wasn't the name of the game there. As we do see Knez there, able to get that jump over Dallin and then just able to hold it all the way to the line. Very well-matched sprinters, actually. Dallin actually looked to have a little bit more kick than Isaac Knez, actually. But Knez, because he grabbed that about probably, I'd say, 15 meters right from the get-go there, was able to break Dallin early on and just hold on all the way to the line. So that's the situation for that C category. And for the overall results, we're waiting for them to populate here from the C category. We're not getting them just quite yet from ZwiftPower.com. So we'll have to wait and see if these will populate anytime soon here. We'll see if I can jump in with the results here. Maybe nobody's finished, though, that was underneath category limits. Perhaps that's why, as we are seeing a lot of the riders here with some upgrades. So perhaps. No, here we go. We are seeing it now. And it is going to be Valens there, 3.2 within category limits. Martin Lund as well as Jamie Blythe with some upgrades. Solid results there. So congratulations to you guys out there. I am seeing a B category here for Johan. Interesting to see. But he did keep it within category limits. But we'll have to wait and see if perhaps we do have the race organizers taking a look at that. But we're going to call a preliminary broadcast result as a top three here between these riders. Overall, it is 78th, 83rd, and 86th. But this is a battle here for the overalls, as you are seeing over here in the C category. Isaac Knez, Richard Down, and then it is going to be Verledens here with a jump up in the overalls after this race out here today. All right, that's going to be it for us in the for the broadcast, I believe, out here today. Solid efforts there all around for all of the riders. Let's go ahead and jump in with the social media integration here a little bit to see what everybody's been chatting about as we come into the line and ending the broadcast out here today. For the broadcast this week, it is going to be a little bit quieter. Everybody, there is a lot going on in the world of Zwift, obviously, with the UCI the Yorkshire Harrogate racing going on. So because of that, we do have the Zwift Live is going to be live with the Zwift Classics. So tomorrow, Wednesday, as well as Thursday. Go ahead and check those out. And then obviously we do have our handicap racing with the Lamb Chop. There is going to be a live feed coming in from the racing going on with Racers Live, actually, over at the Draft House for the Lamb Chop race on Thursday morning, 4 a.m. my time, 7 p.m. AEST. That's Australian Eastern Standard Time. So make sure to jump into that race if you want to get up super early in the USA, or, obviously 10 a.m. UK time. And so jump in for that race. We'll be here for some handicap racing. Make sure to be checking out the Zwift Classics as they are going to be absolutely amazing the next 2 days as well. Charlie Ryan giving us a boo. Loving the chatter coming on through here. Bombarded with new FTP emails from various platforms, we're saying as well. James, I think that's just a reality when it comes to these climbs. You can't hide your FTP over the top. If you want to be competitive, you can't hide the FTP. So Russell Batchelor, amazing race out there. Congratulations and great breakaways effort. 2 seconds ahead of it, and that really, really well done. Nice Dallin and Knez, boom. We're hearing from Charlie Ryan. Loving to see the camaraderie. Great stream, Nathan. Many thanks, no problem. Dirt effect here coming in from Renee Don. Appreciate that as well. Guys, if you haven't hit that follow button as well here on Zwift Community Live, we are live over on YouTube as well as Twitch and Facebook as well as Mixer. So make sure to do so. All of the VODs are always available over on YouTube as well as over on Twitch. We'll see you guys tomorrow for the Zwift Classics. Great job to all the racers out there as always. And as always, ride on.